If you are hearing these words right now, understand that your awareness is standing at the edge of the universe's most protected firewall. And your mind is preparing to cross a boundary that most people never even realize exists. The majority of humanity lives and dies inside the same repetitive loop, because they never allow the necessary continuity of focus required for the quantum field to respond to their intentions. They initiate a thought, but they abandon it before the invisible architecture of reality has time to reorganize itself around that signal. And if you have been questioning why your life keeps recycling the same outcomes, why the same patterns replay with different faces, then what you are about to understand about the observer effect is not optional knowledge for you, it is essential. By the time you reach the final sentence of this transmission, you will not merely hold information. You will possess a living formula for consciously influencing the structure of your own reality. But let this be clear. Once this door opens in your perception, you will never again be able to see the world through the narrow lens you once did. Something irreversible will occur within you. Beyond the rigid coordinates of time and space, at that subtle and almost imperceptible boundary, where the endless chatter of your thoughts dissolves into a profound and sacred silence, there exists a field of pure being. In that stillness, where identity loosens and only presence remains, the universe has chosen this exact moment to reveal its most guarded secret to you. The quantum field does not see you as a passive spectator drifting through circumstances. It recognizes you as an active participant, a decisive force moving within an infinite ocean of probabilities, selecting, bending, and sculpting outcomes with every act of focused awareness. Most individuals move from morning to night replaying yesterday's anxieties, as though they are facts of today. Their fears echo, like a scratched vinyl record looping endlessly in the deeper layers of consciousness. Without realizing it, they reinforce the bars of their own invisible confinement, rebuilding the architecture of limitation day after day. But you are not here to reinforce those walls. You are here to step beyond that corroded cycle, to lift the heavy veil of conditioned reality with deliberate intention, and to witness how even subatomic particles reorganize themselves under the influence of observation. Within the vast and intricate depths of quantum physics, what we label as the observer effect is not a poetic metaphor. It is a directive encoded into the very structure of existence. Every sustained thought you generate is logged into the universal matrix. And when you hold a single intention, with unwavering clarity for 17 seconds, you are initiating a measurable energetic cascade, a process through which unseen potential begins condensing into tangible form. This is not merely a channel, it is a frequency alignment. By consciously engaging with this message, you are choosing to synchronize yourself with a wave of collective evolutionary momentum that our planet is currently navigating. Your spiritual expansion, your ascension in awareness, is not separate from the greater symphony of cosmic intelligence. You are a distinct and irreplaceable note within that orchestration. You are not guided here accidentally. There is a reason your attention aligned with this moment. Your inner being has grown exhausted from repeating a low-frequency narrative that never truly satisfied your potential. Something within you has been searching for expansion, for elevation, for a timeline that reflects your highest capacity rather than your inherited limitations. And now, through this digital intersection of energy and consciousness, you are selecting a brighter trajectory from an infinite spectrum of possibilities embedded within the quantum field. Your higher self has been whispering to you for years that there is more depth, more alignment, more power. And that more is hidden in the silent intervals between these sentences, in the energetic gaps where awareness expands beyond language. At this moment, you are not simply processing sound. You are sensing a recalibration occurring at a cellular level. Your nervous system is beginning to harmonize with a refined vibration. Even your DNA, that ancient biological antenna, responds to focused intention and elevated coherence. The quantum field is not an empty, indifferent void. It is a responsive, intelligent, and interconnected web of living consciousness. It registers your breath. It records the rhythm of your heartbeat. It interprets every mental image you sustain. And within this infinite network, you function as a strategic node, a powerful intersection point where intention meets manifestation. If you have felt trapped in repetitive experiences, encountering similar personalities, similar disappointments, similar obstacles in slightly different disguises, understand this clearly. It was not punishment, and it was not fate. It was the natural consequence of your observer cycle. Whatever you consistently focused upon, even unconsciously, the field amplified and crystallized. Observation became instruction. Attention became architecture. But now you possess the awareness necessary to interrupt that cycle. The sacred 17-second threshold marks the turning point where mental chaos transitions into coherent command. It is the moment your intention shifts from scattered desire into directed signal. When universal intelligence detects a consistent vibrational pattern sustained beyond distraction, it interprets that pattern as a blueprint for materialization. As you continue absorbing this message, something deeper than intellectual comprehension is taking place. Your nervous system is being recalibrated to support a new relationship with reality. This is not abstract theory. This is the operational manual for your creative authority. The cosmic orchestra is already assembled. The instruments are tuned. The silence before the symphony has stretched long enough. It is waiting for your conscious direction. This first chapter marks your deliberate step away from a dense and limiting timeline, and into a reality where synchronicity replaces struggle, and what once seemed miraculous becomes natural. Deep within your consciousness resides a meta-observer, a higher vantage point that perceives probability before it becomes event. That aspect of you is receiving this message now, and illuminating the brightest coordinate within the quantum field. And once awareness expands into that broader spectrum, it cannot compress itself back into ignorance. There is no return to the smaller frame once you have glimpsed the greater design. Crossing this threshold does more than alter your individual path. It subtly elevates the energetic pattern of every life intertwined with yours. Frequency is contagious. Coherence spreads. Every step you take in alignment reverberates outward through invisible channels of connection. Now lower the volume of that outdated internal narrative completely. Allow it to fade into silence. In that silence lies the true creative ground. In that stillness, the 17-second principle reveals its revolutionary potential. What you are about to master will not only restructure your thinking, it will influence the tangible contours of your physical environment. Quantum mechanics demonstrates that subatomic particles exist as probability clouds until measured. Consciousness collapses possibility into form. But consider this. What if the act of collapse requires a minimum duration of uninterrupted focus? What if 17 seconds is the ignition point? Most individuals believe their intentions fail because the universe ignores them. In truth, their attention fractures before the energetic chain reaction completes. The human mind processes overwhelming streams of sensory input every second. To hold a single thought with purity, without contradiction, doubt, or interruption, for a full 17 seconds is equivalent to generating a coherent beam within the quantum ocean. According to teachings echoed by figures such as Abraham Hicks, and in conceptual harmony with quantum entanglement principles. Sustaining a thought for 17 seconds magnetically attracts another thought of similar frequency. When those two coherent signals merge, the resulting energy possesses amplified momentum. It is no longer a whisper in the field, it becomes a directive wave. Imagine igniting a cosmic engine. The first 17 seconds are the spark. Extend that focus to 34 seconds and the engine hums. Reach 51 seconds and the momentum stabilizes. Sustain it for 68 seconds, 4 consecutive cycles, and you have generated a vibrational blueprint dense enough to influence physical structures. This is no longer a fleeting desire. It is an organized pattern seeking expression. The quantum field does not respond to mental noise. It responds to rhythm, to coherence, to sustained alignment. Just as a laser differs from scattered light, because its photons are synchronized in phase and frequency. Your 17-second focus aligns the photons of your neural activity into a concentrated stream, capable of imprinting itself upon the fabric of reality. The life you are experiencing now is the accumulated result of countless brief moments of unconscious focus, you sustained in the past. But now that you recognize the mechanism, you are no longer drifting under accidental currents. You are transitioning into conscious authorship. When a thought begins to gather energetic mass within the quantum field, subtle distortions occur within the perceived rigidity of time and space. You may feel a surge of excitement, a quiet certainty, or a subtle expansion in your chest. That sensation is not imagination, it is resonance. It is evidence that your soul has synchronized with a probability that is preparing to crystallize into experience. Resonance with this elevated frequency for 17 uninterrupted seconds. When you do not merely visualize that home, that relationship, that restored health, or that level of success, but actually enter it, when you feel the texture of the walls beneath your fingertips. Inhale the scent of that new space. Sense the emotional atmosphere of that fulfilled desire as if it already surrounds you. Something extraordinary begins to occur within your neurology. Your brainwave patterns start forming a bridge between gamma and theta states. Gamma, the frequency of heightened awareness and integration. Theta, the gateway of deep subconscious reprogramming. And across that neurological bridge, every sensory-rich impression you generate is transmitted into the quantum field not as a wish, but as a directive. As a meta-observer, you are not just watching a visualization unfold. You are actively altering your biological architecture in real time. The cells in your body respond to the chemical signals released by sustained, emotionally charged focus. Neurotransmitters, peptides, hormonal messengers, they carry the imprint of your dominant thought patterns. And when those patterns remain coherent for 17 seconds, your cells begin reorganizing themselves to match the blueprint of the reality you are rehearsing internally. Your biology starts adapting to a future that has not yet materialized physically, but has already stabilized vibrationally. To truly comprehend this mechanism is to accept that existence is not random disorder. It is a masterfully coordinated symphony, and your intention functions as the conductor's baton. The purer and steadier you sustain that 17-second note, the more precisely the universal orchestra synchronizes around you. Every thought you generate is a seed cast into the quantum soil. But only those seeds that receive 17 seconds of undivided energetic nourishment are permitted to germinate. That duration acts as a threshold, a seriousness checkpoint within universal law. It measures the integrity of your focus. If by the 5th or 6th second your mind fractures into doubt, will this really happen? The energetic signature destabilizes. The frequency becomes inconsistent, and the field, responding only to coherence, halts the process and defaults you back into the familiar pattern, safe, predictable, and uninspired. This is why those 17 seconds are not trivial. They are a crucible of inner discipline, a test of emotional maturity, a measurement of your capacity to remain unwavering in the face of invisible gestation. When you enter that 17-second window with meditative depth and with enthusiasm as though you are already inhabiting that chosen reality, a phenomenon resembling time dilation begins to occur. In those seconds, chronological time feels irrelevant. You are no longer confined to linear sequencing. Within that concentrated span, you can hold the energetic potential of years. Entire lifetimes can be encoded into that focused interval. Now that this understanding has reached you, wandering aimlessly through your own thoughts is no longer harmless. Every 17-second cycle becomes creative leverage. You are either constructing a new internal paradise or reinforcing the architecture of past fears. There is no neutral ground in sustained focus. The quantum field remains perpetually attentive, awaiting the fusion of your observer effect with disciplined duration. The moment your attention locks into coherence, the subtle gears of reality begin to rotate. Circumstances recalibrate, intersections shift, probability lines adjust. And as you anchor this realization deeper into your cells, prepare yourself for the next layer of mastery, transforming focused thought into emotional magnetism. Because 17 seconds is only the ignition switch. The real treasure lies in the vibrational quality you emit during that ignition. The observer effect, perhaps the most unsettling revelation within quantum mechanics, demonstrates that you are not a tourist passing through existence. You are the pathway through which existence organizes itself. If you consistently interpret the world as chaotic, you are extracting and solidifying chaotic probabilities from the infinite quantum reservoir. This is not coincidence, it is resonance. But with this awareness, you are now poised to recalibrate the cosmic navigation system. By shifting perception, you alter destination. Vibrational alignment is not superficial desire. It is frequency congruence. You cannot receive a broadcast unless your receiver is tuned precisely to its station. Just as you cannot hear a signal at 100.2 FM without aligning your dial to that frequency, you cannot attract abundance while internally broadcasting scarcity. Most individuals unknowingly invert the observer effect by declaring, "I will believe it when I see it." They continue observing limitation, analyzing it, emotionally reinforcing it, and in doing so, they crystallize it further. Quantum mastery reverses that equation. It proclaims, "When I believe, when I enter that frequency fully, I will see." And by holding the image of a yet unmanifested highest timeline for 17 coherent seconds, you summon it from potential into expression. Even now, as you absorb this message, your vibrational signature is shifting. The quantum field is recalculating its response to this more conscious version of you. Every thought you sustain, every emotion attached to it, emits a broadcast into the fabric of reality declaring, "This is my identity. This is my chosen experience." The observer effect operates like a projector. Your consciousness is the light source. The mental imagery you sustain is the film strip. If that strip is saturated with unresolved pain, inadequacy, or anticipated failure, then no matter how often the scene changes, the storyline remains tragic. But you now hold the authority to replace the film. From the infinite library of probabilities within the quantum field, you can select the most luminous, empowered, and peaceful scenario. And through focused attention, you impress that scenario into experiential reality. When true vibrational alignment is achieved, effort transforms, struggle dissolves. Life no longer feels like resistance against current. Instead, it becomes a river moving toward you, carrying synchronized encounters, opportunities, and what you once labeled miracles. This realization generates a peace that surpasses belief systems, because you understand that the universe is not opposing you. It is mirroring you. It reflects back with precision the signal you emit. As a meta-observer, when you begin witnessing your own emotional reactions without immediate identification, you loosen the grip of low-frequency cycles. And within every discipline's 17-second focus, you transmit a declaration into the field. I no longer resonate with limitation. I am coherence. I am vitality. I am abundance embodied. Once that declaration stabilizes, restructuring begins at the subatomic level. Your sustained intention forms a gravitational center within the ocean of infinite possibilities. Like a magnet aligning scattered filings, the quantum field organizes compatible particles, circumstances, and pathways along your life trajectory. Maintaining vibrational harmony becomes your highest responsibility, because coherence radiates outward. When your frequency elevates, it influences not only your immediate environment, but also the broader collective consciousness. Through quantum entanglement, that profound principle revealing invisible interconnectedness, no being exists in isolation. Threads of energy link you to others, to events, to the very heart of the cosmos. Your alignment subtly recalibrates those threads, so do not interpret this moment as mere information exchange. Recognize it as a gear shift in perception. Convert your observer effect from unconscious habit into deliberate creative instrument. Then watch how swiftly the quantum field reorganizes around your stable, luminous vibration. Reality is not rigid architecture. It is a fluid, energetic ocean, reshaped by conscious interaction. And you are not adrift within it. You are at the helm, you adjust direction, you trim the sails of intention, you determine trajectory. Everything is energy. Every energy carries a measurable frequency. When you embody the frequency of the truth you desire, its arrival becomes inevitable. This is not abstract philosophy. It is foundational physics expressed through consciousness. The silent, expansive intelligence of the quantum field does not awaken in response to dry words or fleeting wishes. It responds to embodied coherence, to sustained, emotionally integrated focus. to the unwavering vibrational declaration of who you choose to be. Fleeting idea drifting across your awareness, but by the magnitude of the emotional detonation that idea ignites within your heart. As you will come to realize more deeply in the next unfolding chapter, if thought functions as the electrical impulse transmitted into the universal network, then emotion is the magnetic current that amplifies that impulse, giving it density, direction, and the power to bend reality toward you. Many fall into the comforting illusion that casual visualization is sufficient. They assume that lightly imagining a better future is enough to persuade the universe. But the quantum field does not respond to surface-level language. It does not analyze your vocabulary. It responds to resonance. It measures the vibrational state you are embodying in that precise moment. Unless you saturate your 17-second intention with genuine exhilaration, embodied gratitude, and a satisfaction so real it vibrates through your cells as though the desire is already fulfilled, your intention remains weak, a faint whisper dissipating into the vastness. Emotion is your most concentrated frequency signature. It is the identifying code stamped onto every signal you broadcast. If you attach fear, impatience, doubt, or the anxious question of when will this finally happen to your desire, you are unknowingly encoding the message of absence. You are declaring vibrationally that the reality you seek is not yet yours. And because the quantum field mirrors with mathematical precision, it continues reflecting experiences that validate that state of lack. But when you immerse yourself in the fragrance of that new life for 17 uninterrupted seconds, when you allow the joy of achievement to move through your nervous system, when gratitude swells in your chest as if the blessing has already unfolded, every cell in your body begins recalibrating. Your biology shifts first. Long before physical circumstances rearrange, your internal chemistry adapts to the fulfilled version of you. At that stage, the quantum field initiates rapid reorganization. It begins reconciling the discrepancy between your inner resonance and your outer conditions. Reality restructures itself to match your dominant emotional broadcast. Now, in this very moment, if you truly intend to participate in this transformation, if you are ready to seal your chosen timeline into the core of the universe, pause. Inhale deeply. Center your awareness within your heart. Visualize your highest intention glowing there, and affirm with conviction, I am aligned with my highest timeline. This declaration is not a passive comment. It is a vibrational contract. It selects your desired probability from the infinite spectrum available in the quantum field and anchors it into tangible experience. The intensity of your emotional fuel determines the speed of manifestation. Elevated emotions, love, gratitude, joy, certainty, function like clearing agents. They dissolve dense frequencies such as fear, guilt, and resistance, removing obstacles one by one from your path. The law of resonance is unwavering. You attract not what you request, but what you are. If peace is your aim, you must first stabilize peace within your nervous system. If abundance is your desire, you must cultivate the internal sensation of richness before it appears externally. When this embodied feeling is sustained in coherent 17-second intervals, the universe cannot remain indifferent. It must respond. Cycles often persist not because our intentions are flawed, but because our emotional baseline remains anchored in past wounds. Thoughts may evolve, but if the emotional identity remains that of a victim, the projected reality does not shift. You, however, have now uncovered the hidden lever. You have redirected the emotional projector toward a new landscape. Your heart operates as a broadcasting station, transmitting signals continuously, every hour, every breath. The purity of that broadcast determines the nature of the feedback you receive. When your emotional station is aligned with your declared intention, events begin aligning with uncanny precision. What appears accidental to the untrained eye unfolds with mathematical inevitability. Remember, the quantum field is not a moral authority passing judgment. It is a mirror reflecting your deepest resonance with flawless clarity. When within that sacred 17-second window, you affirm, "This is who I already am," subatomic particles reorganize to affirm that identity. As you recharge your emotional state daily with this awareness, you will observe subtle yet undeniable shifts. Time feels less rigid. Opportunities open without force. Doors that once resisted begin yielding. It may appear as though the universe is conspiring in your favor, because in truth, it is synchronizing with your frequency. You are no longer merely a mind wishing for change. You are a conscious source generating resonance. This creative authority is not borrowed, it is your birthright. And each 17-second focus is a sacred claim upon that right within the quantum fabric. Position yourself within that desired life not as a distant spectator, but as embodied awareness feeling every molecular detail of that existence. The quantum field responds only to sincerity, to vibrational authenticity. Fuse intention and emotion so completely that no separation remains between thought and heart. In that flawless alignment lies the 0-point threshold, the origin of manifestation. When you stabilize yourself there, the universe ceases to feel external. It becomes a responsive ocean awaiting your directive. Sense the surge of new energy rising within you. Notice how it disrupts the inertia of your former patterns. Something is loosening. Something outdated is dissolving. Soon you will comprehend at an even deeper level how time itself bends under sustained coherence. Prepare yourself for one of the most unsettling revelations of quantum mechanics. Time is not the rigid, linear current you were taught to accept. It is not a straight river flowing predictably from past to future. It is a malleable construct, responsive to consciousness. While the physical senses interpret seconds as sequential events, the quantum field operates within an eternal present, an infinite now in which all probabilities coexist simultaneously. When you hold your 17-second intention with unwavering presence, you are not waiting for the future. You are puncturing the illusion of linear time and inserting your chosen reality directly into the present moment. Time distortion occurs when focused intention expands from 17 seconds into 34, 51, 68 seconds and beyond. As you inhabit your intended future emotionally, as though it is already complete, the quantum field integrates that future self into your current identity. Instead of chasing your goal across distant years, you cause it to collapse inward toward you. Most individuals exile their desires into an unreachable horizon. One day I will succeed. One day I will find happiness. And the quantum field faithfully maintains that one-day frequency perpetually postponed. Quantum mastery overturns this habit. Within the sacred 17-second void, you dismantle the illusion of waiting. You inhabit the life you seek now. This is not escapist fantasy. It is the conversion of potential energy into kinetic unfolding. In this process, chronological time, the mechanical ticking known as chronos yields to creative time, the sacred opening known as kairos. That uninterrupted 17-second clarity functions like a singularity at the center of a black hole. It pulls in and dissolves limitations, erasing the dust of obsolete narratives. In their place emerges a blank, luminous canvas composed of pure potential, awaiting your imprint. When you stabilize your observation of this new reality, a phenomenon comparable to a quantum leap unfolds. Just as an electron transitions between energy levels without traversing the space between them, your consciousness shifts from an old fear-based timeline to a higher frequency trajectory, instantaneously. During such transitions, perception alters. Time appears suspended, spatial boundaries feel less defined. And what remains is a distilled awareness, the pure sensation of I am. This is that threshold state where identity detaches from history and aligns with possibility. It is the silent intersection where intention, emotion, and consciousness merge into creative authority. Sacred 0 point, that immeasurable stillness where you resonate completely with the quantum field, and recognize that time itself is no longer a rigid authority over you, but a responsive dimension that bends in harmony with your awareness. As a true meta-observer, you no longer stare at calendars asking, when will it finally happen? That question dissolves. You understand that at the quantum level, the reality you selected is already sealed. What appears as delay in the physical world is nothing more than the brief technical translation process, energy reorganizing itself into visible matter. This realization does more than strengthen faith. It installs peace, deep, immovable peace. When your relationship with time transforms, coincidence gives way to synchronicity. Messages you once waited months for appear unexpectedly. Opportunities arrive before anxiety can question them. And often, the moment you detach from obsessive waiting, the universe compresses time itself, placing that highest probability directly into your hands. Sustain a new reality in focused awareness for 17 seconds, and your neural pathways begin encoding that scenario as memory. Your brain does not fully distinguish between vividly imagined experience and lived event. Those neurons fire as though the future has already occurred. And as they fire, the quantum field responds by duplicating that coded pattern into physical expression. This is why each morning must begin differently now. You do not wake up rehearsing yesterday's disappointments. You rise remembering the future you consciously constructed in those sacred 17-second intervals. You rehearse the destiny you chose. You now recognize that time is not your master. It is a mirror reflecting the clarity or confusion of your consciousness. When your internal frequency becomes precise and coherent, the external flow of time adjusts accordingly. It can appear to accelerate, to pause, or to reorganize in ways that defy logic. Your chosen reality is no longer a fragile possibility. It is an inevitable convergence point you continue to observe and energize. You are stepping away from the dense, linear perception of time inherited from the old world and entering the fluid dimension of the quantum realm, where every moment contains infinite potential. Surrender to this current. Allow time to cooperate with you rather than intimidate you. With each breath, feel that your highest potential is not approaching, it is present, here, active. Because once you understand how to bend time through sustained coherence, the universe itself reorganizes around your will. An ocean of probabilities spreads before you, awaiting your selection. Reality reveals itself as a flexible, energetic framework, alive, adaptive, responsive to your gaze. The moment you claim this authority, the world has no alternative but to reshape itself around your inner vibration. You are witnessing the genesis of a sacred transformation, the convergence of everything you have learned into your rebirth as a conscious quantum creator. Breaking free from the unconscious observer cycle begins with daily intention, with deliberately crafting those luminous 17-second spaces. Each time you choose this coherence, you open a new page of destiny drawn from the infinite library of the cosmos. Standing here now, you are not merely concluding a video. You are shedding an outdated identity, one built from fear, repetition, and limitation at a cellular level. You are stepping into expansive awareness, floating in a sea of possibility. The quantum field responds to purity. It responds to the sharpness of your focus and the sincerity of your emotional resonance. When you hold an intention for 17 seconds with unwavering enthusiasm, the subatomic world aligns as though awaiting your command. What once seemed impossible begins flowing into form with astonishing precision. True transformation does not require external circumstances to change first. It requires the recalibration of the observer within. The moment you alter that internal lens, the external landscape must reorganize. And in that realization, the chains of victim consciousness fall away. You stop searching for miracles in distant horizons because you recognize that the miracle is embedded in your awareness, in your breath, in those 17 seconds of disciplined focus. You are not a fragment within this universe. You are an expression of universal consciousness itself, continuously reconstructing experience, bending time, shaping matter through intention. This awakening has opened a golden threshold from which there is no return to ignorance. The quantum field treats every intention as a seed. Water it with 17 seconds of emotional magnetism, and the entire infrastructure of existence begins aligning quietly to nourish it. Transformation begins the instant your perception shifts. After this moment, you will see fewer obstacles and more openings, fewer impossibilities and more miracles, because your observer function has been refined to a higher frequency. Trust your authority. Honor the clarity of your intention. Open your heart to the astonishing orchestration unfolding behind the scenes. You are no longer experimenting with possibility. You are mastering it. Every 17 seconds, you are recreating reality. Remember, as awareness expands, so does the world it perceives. As your inner light intensifies, shadows dissolve without resistance. Silence the old record completely now. Let the authentic symphony of your soul reverberate through every layer of the quantum field. When you close this video and return to your physical surroundings, recognize that every object, every person, every circumstance is not fixed matter, but structured energy awaiting your vibrational instruction. Instead of reacting to outer challenges, project your chosen reality onto the quantum screen with deliberate clarity. That sacred mental projector is yours to operate. You are now an awakened observer. No low-frequency pattern can withstand sustained coherence. No outdated cycle can survive focused intention. Acknowledge your light. Use that miraculous 17-second threshold daily, not casually, but reverently. Unlock the treasures embedded within the universe one by one, because you are not separate from the quantum field. You are one with it. You are the architect of reality beyond probability, and your transformation reverberates through the entire cosmos. If you feel this resonance within you, recognize this moment not as casual content consumption, but as a milestone in your ascension of awareness. Align consciously. Participate deliberately. We are not exchanging information here. We are stabilizing a new reality through collective coherence. To anchor this frequency firmly within your timeline, affirm it, declare it, seal it. Write with conviction. I now align with my highest potential in the quantum realm. When you inscribe those words, your intention transcends thought and becomes signature, etched into both the digital field and the infinite quantum fabric itself.